it's round one of the 2023 Bennett's British Superbike Championship here with the R&G British Talent Cup. This was yesterday's race one, which was a frenetic affair. Emmanuel Brinton starting on pole position, but didn't hold the lead for too long. It was all action stations, as it always seems to be in the British Talent Cup. Johnny Garnett starting from the back of the grid following a qualifying infringement, had to fight his way through, managed to make great ground in the opening couple of laps with the field all bunched up. Sullivan Mounty was an early leader, but then had an off-track excursion which drops him right back through the field when he had a lot of work to do. It wasn't all plain sailing for Garnett, with a bit of a bobble coming through the Luffield corner, costing him a bit of time and position. But this was the moment that defined the race, with Rhys Stevenson having a big wobble, causing him to go down. Sullivan Mounty an innocent victim in that. Those two riders having gone down the road, the red flag was brought out and the race was declared as a result, with Harrison Desoy being the first winner of the 2023 season. Well, welcome along to sunny Silverstone for the second race of the R&G British Talent Cup here this weekend, and it is going to be an absolutely fantastic affair, this one. Very much looking forward to seeing what is going to happen. This is how the grid lines up in reverse order for the first two rows. Emmanuel Brinton, yesterday's pole man, finished on the podium in second position. He lines up on the outside of row two with the newcomer Ryan Frost. Great lap time for him in race one, sees him in the middle of that second row with the reigning champion Johnny Garnett from Ilfracombe in Devon. He heads the second row of the grid. Finished on the podium here yesterday after a great rise through the field. Evan Belford is on the outside of the first row, I should say, with the City Lifting RS racing machine. Sullivan Mounty very quick yesterday, but needs to rein himself in and get consistent, keep himself on that motorcycle. He was looking a bit haphazard out on track. Ollie Walker, though, the fastest man in race one, sees him lining up on pole position on the Wright Morgan SP125 racing machine ahead of the second race here today. Well, 22 laps for the riders, 2 warm-up laps for them to contend with. And yesterday, Neil, it was a frenetic affair out on track. Action wherever you looked up and down the field. Yeah,
and when you're going through these grid members just then, every one of them have got so much potential. Starting with Sullivan Mounty, he just makes little mistakes at the wrong time, because yesterday he should have been right at the front. He shouldn't have got caught up in the Rhys Stevenson incident, and he wouldn't have been off the track and a non-finisher. So he just, like you say, just needs to tidy things up. There's no question of his pace or his potential to win or finish on the podium, but just needs to keep things nice and tidy at the front. Ryan Frost, a great newcomer, as he said, had a lot of good things about Ryan, and a rider definitely got some potential for the future. Johnny Garnett, he's got to be the most confident rider sitting on the grid. He was charging through yesterday, looked like he could have won the race. It finished a little bit early, so I'm sure he was disappointed of what could have been, but he's going to be sitting there confident. He's in the second row of the grid today, and I'm sure he'll go very close to getting the job done. But so much potential out there from all of these riders, I just can't wait.
Let's have a look then, shall we, at the grid for race two. So it's Ollie Walker, Sullivan Mounty and Evan Belford on the front row. Johnny Garnett, Rhys Frost and Emmanuel Brinton on the second row. Harley McCabe, Julian Correa, yesterday's race one winner Harrison Desoy on the outside of row three. Charlie Huntingford, Lucas Brown and Philippe Saroviak on row four. Then it is McKay, Bannister, Alexander Rowan on row five. Davidson, Wilkinson and Pilpenko on row six. Joliffe, then Edmonds and Dan Goodman on the Vision Track machine down on row 7 in 21st. Then it's Ronnie Harris, Horner and Turner on row 8, Willis, Jones and Banish on row 9, the American rider, with Scott McPhee, cousin to John, in row 10, with Barnes and Bowles and then O'Brien completing the 31 rider strong field here today. So Harrison Desoy, winner here yesterday, great ride from him, but starting on the outside of that third row, only the 9th quickest time then in race one. So a bit of work for him to do.
Yeah, work to do, but not the end of the world. There's lots of slipstreaming going on here, lots of holding each other up at the front, and I'm sure he'll make his way through. So yeah, makes it interesting for us having him back there. He was a popular winner yesterday. He's a lovely lad. He really enjoyed winning. He was very thankful to everyone that's helped him on the journey. So popular win, and nice to see him enjoying it and being such a good lad as well. And a shout out, I was thinking yesterday, to the stalwart teams that come every year that look after the juniors and bring so many junior riders through. Steve Patrickson, Ryan Saxelby, John Cresswell, Simon Marsh and the Vision Track outfit. It's countless, and these guys, they don't tend to move up into other championships. They concentrate on the youngsters, and they give us so much potential for the future. And we're so grateful to all these guys. Pete Banks, another guy over the years. So these guys deserve a lot of praise for helping these youngsters and providing them for a platform for the future.
Well, no Reece Stevenson on the grid, as you may have noticed. A broken wrist and concussion for him, sadly, after that accident yesterday. We wish him well and hope he has a speedy recovery. We'll see him out later on this season. "22 laps then ahead of the riders for the second race of the R&G British Talent Cup, waiting for the green flag to be waved at the back. What can this man here, Sullivan Mounsey, do from second place on the grid? Green flag is waved at the back. Wait for the red lights to come in the top left of your picture. When the red lights go on, they'll go out. Race 2 of the R&G British Talent Cup is underway. Great start from Sullivan Mounsey. Not so good for Ollie Walker from pole position. Look at Johnny Garness away like a stabbed rat down in towards the first corner too. He goes into second place, but it's Mounsey who gets the whole shot then, followed by Garness, as Garness then manages to make his way back through at the end of Copse Corner. So it's now Garness in front as they head in towards Maggots and then into Aintree Corner for the first time. Garness gets the Data Tag Fast Start Award after managing to lead across that first sector time. They all managed to make their way very cleanly through the first couple of corners, but a great start from Garness, followed by Evan Belford.
What an incentive to be first past the first sector, and Mounsey looked like he was on for that. Perfect launch, perfect reaction, just ran a little bit wide into Copse, and if you're a little bit wide you don't get the drive out. Johnny Garness a little bit more patient, turned it tight and got through that first sector first.
Well, you can see a variety of different lines. These smaller bikes do lend themselves to being able to run sort of different lines, especially at this very wide Silverstone circuit.
Yeah, different lines, and they can be 3 abreast mid-corner, and because they're light they can change direction quite quickly. They can react, and yeah, perfect racetrack for 1.6 miles, short lap as well, so great racetrack. But Johnny Garner certainly means business today, but Mounsey thinks he wants to do something about that.
Garness, of course, the reigning champion, unfortunately too young to actually make his next step of his career forwards in the British Championships. You can see he's just about to possibly lose the lead here from Sullivan Mounsey. The number 4 getting his elbows out, trying to send it up the inside into the Aintree Corner, which he succeeds. Does he get the bike stopped? Just about. Runs it a little bit wide on the exit. That's going to allow Garness to come through, or possibly not. Good drive there from Garness as they get very close to a bit of contact with one another on the run down in towards the Brooklands Corner. Down the Wellington Straight we go. Evan Belford looking to try and get himself involved in the action as well. Julian Correa there on the number 40 on the Microlist Cresswell Racing Machines made a good start from 8th place. He's up fighting inside the top 5 as well. But Mounsey there pretty close to contact actually in the Aintree Corner.
Just going to say that it's a difficult one, because if you're inside you're hanging off the right hand side of the bike, and you're not really aware if there's a rider on the outside, so you pick it up to get a nice drive on there. Could easily be a bike to your left, so have to be careful. Yeah, the number 48 there on the green, Ollie Walker, he has to be careful there. Not too many green concrete infringements, so he'll be suffering a penalty.
Yeah, very, very cautious of that. Harley McCabe with the fastest lap last time around on the McCabe Racing Machine. You can see Mounsey there. This is where he was really strong on the brakes here yesterday. That proving to be the case even in the slightly cooler conditions. Gets the bike stopped a little bit better this time. It's just easy when you've got to sort of let the brakes off, isn't it, so you don't lock the front.
Yeah, definitely. Johnny Garness being patient there, and it's not the end of the world if you're not leading onto the back straight. As long as you're in close contention with the guy in front, you'll get a good slipstream. But yes, Sullivan Mounsey certainly means business today. And Johnny Garness, of course, with that massive target on his back. He was a standout rider last year. He's come back to defend his championship, but everyone else wants a piece of the action. And if they can be anywhere close to Johnny Garness, then they're doing okay.
Keep an eye out for Emmanuel Brinton flying the flag solo here for the Cavara Projects RS Racing outfit. They're in 4th place. We've got a two-rider crash here, unfortunately.
Ollie Horner's one of these riders, and the number 11, that's Ewan Jones, the Jones Brother Racing Team.
Yep, so, well, being attended to by the Race Safe Medics and Marshals. It's at the Aintree Corner once again. 2 into 1 doesn't go. Yeah,
tangled up coming out of Beckett's, heading through Aintree, and I just wonder if it was maybe just what I was talking about, one rider hanging off the inside of the bike and another rider on the left not being in his peripheral vision.
Well, yellow flags will be out there. As you can see, the riders now walking away, thankfully up and seemingly okay for the most part. So the race does continue on despite those yellow flags. Green flags, though, you can see being waved, so that means you are allowed to overtake in towards this left-hander of Brooklands. Emmanuel Brinton there, trying to get his elbows out. He, of course, course, was the man who started on pole position in race 1. Didn't quite have the pace to get the better of Harrison de Soy. Of course, he was a bit unlucky with that early red flag, but he has looked really, really quick over the course of the 2023 season so far. Very much looking forward to seeing what he is going to be able to do here in this race. Down the start-finish straight we go, in towards the first corner. Johnny Garnett still at the lead. Here comes Sullivan Mounsey and Evan Belford side by side. They go through the Copse corner. Belford looks like he's just got the overspeed and got the momentum to hold on to P2 for now. There is Emmanuel Brinton on the black number 43, ready to try and bring the challenge. Keep an eye out as well for Julian Correa on the Microless Cresswell racing machine. That's the blue, white and yellow bike you can see in your picture at the moment. He is having a nice little ding-dong battle there with Reece Frost, the debutant on the number 24. Started on that second row, Ryan Frost, I should say, I beg your pardon, and very much looking forward to this battle continuing here at the front as well.
Now, the smart thing to do for Belford, Mounsey and Brinton is not to hold each other up when Johnny Garnett gets to the front, because if he's given a gap, then he'll dig in and pull away. These guys are tripping each other up, costing themselves some time over their laps. So yeah, fortunately Belford's gone back to the front, Johnny Garnett has gone back, but they just have to be really careful if they're going to get someone really fast like Garnett at the front, not to hold each other up.
Well, if you're a young rider that's sort of learning their racecraft as you're a debutant here, for example, if you are Ryan Frost, started on the second row, his first season in the British Talent Cup, I mean, what sort of a baptism of fire is it coming into a championship
well,
like this?
When you're so inexperienced, you've just got to get on with it. You've just got to ride fast, try and stay safe, not take too many chances, and watch the guys in front. And stay out there, sitting in the gravel, you're learning nothing. Even if you're not where you want to be results-wise, much better to be circulating and learning, getting to know your bike, getting to know the racetracks. And I like to see riders like that just finish, even if it's in the points, and then save the heroics for the end of the season when they've got more experience and they understand what's going on. But getting too aggressive early on can only maybe cost you DNFs, and then you're learning nothing, as I said, when you're sat at the side of the track.
Well, we're talking about going 3 wide into Brooklands early. We just saw that a little bit further down the order. Harrison de Soy, as you can see with the purple dot next to his name, is the quickest man out on track as it stands for now. Still sitting in 9th place, which is where he started this race. It hasn't quite got what it takes to make that forward progress at the moment. He's definitely involved in that sort of group that's second in your picture at the moment, but there's almost a splinter group away with this top 4 for now.
Yes, they could join back up though if they do start holding each other up. Just a message there from Race Control. Ollie Horner has been taken to the medical centre, and if we have any updates we'll let you know, but hopefully everything is okay here. I expect the lap record to go. There was like a couple of tenths outside the lap record yesterday as Johnny Garnett pushes Sullivan Mounsey a little bit wide heading onto Wellington Straight. I don't know if that was deliberate or it was just trying to jostle for positions for the line, 3 abreast into Brooklands.
Emmanuel Brinton there on the inside, Sullivan Mounsey, a bit of a meat in the sandwich at the moment as he comes through that left hand, and they all managed to continue on in the same positions in which they started that corner. I was actually talking to Johnny Garnett's dad yesterday. He showed me a video of a crash that Johnny had in practice, FP1, and there were all 4 riders from the Vision Track team wrote the bikes off.
Yeah, I saw that. It did about 5 laps. I think 3 of the riders were involved in one incident.
Goodness me.
They're not giving Johnny Garnett any respect, but that's what happens. He has got that target, and they need to stay in touch though.
Emmanuel Brinton hits the front for the first time in this race. It's getting aggressive, isn't it? Really early here too.
Yeah, it's getting a little bit fruity here, a little bit tasty. They have to behave themselves. Race Control will be watching that, and there's no harsh penalties handed out here at BSB, but the object of the exercise is to keep everyone safe, so they have to look after each other.
Well, just a reminder, the long lap penalty loop is on the outside of the Luffield corner, so I wonder whether if riders perhaps are exceeding track limits a bit too much, they might award a long lap penalty depending on the duration left in the race, or whether they might award a time penalty post-race. Let's hope that doesn't happen, but if it does, we'll keep you updated with anything. All the riders at the front seemingly looking okay for track limits, especially Sullivan Mounsey, because I have to say I feared that before the incident which sadly took him out of contention, I feared a penalty would be coming his way because he was just on the edge a little bit too much on the green stuff, and I wonder whether Race Control would have been coming down on him.
Well, I'm sure his team and his crew have told him of that, and suddenly we've got a group of 8 within a second, so yeah, they have all bunched up, and it really is anybody's race now.
Ryan Frost, black and orange flag, so that's a technical problem then with the motorcycle. The Race Control have obviously had a look at the bike and said, oh, hang on, something must be hanging off it or not looking quite right, and said you've got to pull into the pits and get that sorted.
Too bad, maybe some smoke or something, but yeah, it's only for the rider's safety. But yeah, it's still got a group of 8.
It's a loose fairing belly pan, isn't it? Yeah, that's a shame for Ryan, because of course started on the middle of that second row, has gone backwards a little bit in this race, and hopefully he is able to see that black and orange flag, but it is going to bring an early end to the rookies race. Yellow flag, there is black and orange flag, you can just see that on the digital board.
He can go in and have that repaired if it's just a Zeus fastener or something that needs clipping together and get back out and needs to get some track time. But yeah, he's on for a good result here, so that's a shame.
Just as a rider, oh, hang on a minute, we've got a rider going down. That's Dan Goodman, I believe. No, Josh O'Brien, in fact, on the Vision Track Racing machine. And unfortunately, the Irish Riders race goes no further than lap 10. Thankfully up and okay following that one. You can still see the black and orange flag is out and waving for Ryan Frost on board the number 24. Still hasn't seen it. I was just about to ask, as a rider, when you're battling in groups like this and focusing on your race, are you actually consciously aware of these things?
No, I mean, quite possibly not. Yeah, he should be able to see it. The signals are in positions where it's in the rider's vision, so he should be able to see it. I'm sure he won't be aware that he has got a problem, because he won't really feel that, and it's not a massive problem. But the worry is if that comes flying off and maybe into the face of another rider, might not do them any injuries. But if they can't see where they're going, close up there of Ryan Frost, and he's having a slide there, so he needs to just get into the pits, address the problem, and hopefully can get back out. But yeah, I'm pleased he's in the pit lane now.
Yeah, thankfully he's seen that black and orange flag comes into the pit lane. I was just about to say there's a massive dive up the inside into the Brooklands corner for Harrison de Soy a couple of corners ago, and you can see the frustration there for Ryan Frost. That's such a shame for him, because it's going to spoil his race, and now you're going to see the team just having a little look down and what's happened. This is what happened here to the number 22 of Josh O'Brien. We just saw it there in the background at Copse Corner. Fast place to crash that as well.
Fast. He's okay. Lots of runoff. It's certainly safe.
Down the back straight we go, lap 11 out of 22. Sullivan Mounsey trying to go for the inside line here. Emmanuel Brinton covering off. Evan Belford wobble there for Harrison de Soy, who's slowly making progress up the field. He's been sitting in 9th place for the last couple of laps, but now he's managed to latch himself on to the back of that group. He's now really very much in the fight for this podium battle here.
And the number 55 has got pace. New lap record goes to him, 101.447. So yeah, just slightly under the lap record. So yeah, Harrison de Soy very much on the case.
Yep, really exciting stuff. Harvey Claridge actually holding the previous lap record from a couple of years ago. Harvey now racing in the British Supersport and GP2 category as there's somebody going off into the car park here at Silverstone.
Yeah, lots of acres of tarmac here at Silverstone, super safe, and that's why it's a MotoGP circuit. Now this group has bunched away 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 riders on their own here, but yeah, all in with a chance of the podium.
Yeah, Philip Sorowiak, the nearest rider to them, in 10th place, and he's some 5 seconds off the back of this group as they go 3 abreast into the Brooklands corner. Who is going to come out on top? Looks like Sullivan Mounsey's got the inside line. Johnny Garnett sticks the wheel up the inside of Emmanuel Brinton, who has Harrison de Soy to his left there as well. They all managed to get back into line on the exit of the corner as they try and get the slipstream advantage. This, of course, is where Johnny Garnett's weight advantage is hugely beneficial for him. He's a pint-sized rider, whereas Emmanuel Brinton is one of the tallest in the field.
He is, but lap times are very similar here. What Johnny Garnett tends to have is the experience and the racecraft. But important thing here is just to stay in the bunch and save any. And if you've got anything up your sleeve, maybe save it for the closing laps. But lots of time left, lots of laps left to go in this race.
Harley McCabe on the white number 7 is getting involved in this action as well. Great to see Harley McCabe fighting up the sharper end of the field. Hasn't had a particularly harmonious start to his 2023 season so far. No points, in fact, no points on the board for him yesterday with 4th place, but it's had a bit of a difficult run of it out there on that machine. Meanwhile, let's have a look and see what happens in this battle, because Johnny Garnett is now at the helm in this one, followed by Emmanuel Brinton. Evan Belford there sitting in 3rd place. Harrison de Soy, though, really looking very close on board the number 55. So down the start-finish straight we go. There is that white number 7 of Harley McCabe, just battling with Harrison Desoy and Sullivan Moundy, who's just dropped back a little bit from this group. Still plenty of laps to go, 8 remaining here in this second R&G British Talent Cup race. Somebody taking the scenic route there on the outside of the circuit. Just to mention, Johnny Garnett actually racing over in Europe in the European Talent Cup this year as well, so plenty of seat time for him.
Yeah, and that's what these kids need, lots of track time. The more track time, the better. So yeah, he's got a good setup there, the Vision Track racing team, and of course a route all the way to MotoGP with the Moto3 Vision Track team, Scott Ogden and Josh Watley. So yeah, lots of great format and great opportunities for the young riders.
Great race also for Clayton Edmonds on board the number 64, made 10 places from his P20 starting position, and is having a good run of things out there so far. Got a couple of top 10 finishes last year in this Honda British Talent Cup. Let's see whether he's going to make some forward progress for 2023 as well.
I think Harrison Desoy could again be the man here. He's just chipping away, staying out of trouble, he's setting consistent fast laps, and he's very much in touch with the podium bunch.
I'll tell you what he looks like on the bike. He looks calm. He doesn't look like he's rushing it, and he's just sort of sat there keeping a brief on what's happening in front, not doing anything too rash, and not, blimey, I was just going to say that Harley McCabe comes through like a scolded cat into the lead of the race as we go through Maggots.
Yeah, he is, and he's got that kind of personality off the bike as well, got a sunny personality. He understands things, he appreciates the things in life, and yeah, I think he's a good little package.
So down the back straight we go, Harley McCabe now out in front. Bit of debris being just kicked up there. I hope that wasn't off of a rider's bike. It might have just been a bit of discarded tyre rubber, because of course there's been a fair bit of track action here this weekend. Lots of classes of racing.
Got a new leader, Tom.
Yeah, we have. Yep, Harley McCabe then in front in this one, with Emmanuel Brinton very close behind. Sullivan Moundsey there keeping a close eye on proceedings in third position. Johnny Arness just relegated temporarily back into fourth place. You can guarantee that this won't be the finishing order when the checkered flag flies. Here comes Sullivan Moundsey trying to jink to the inside of Emmanuel Brinton. Johnny Garnett fancies a piece of the action, does the supermarket special, the 2 for 1, buy one you get one free, into Copse Corner.
Harley McCabe, remember a couple of years ago he made his debut at Knockhill. Michael Laverty was, I guess, the guy that found him, knew he had a bit of potential. He'd never ridden an NSF 250 machine again till he got to Knockhill. Was making great progress in the Saturday race. Unfortunately, jumped off and a little knock in the head, so he didn't race in the Sunday due to some concussion. But yeah, certainly his debut was very impressive as well. And like I say, an average season last year, but plenty of potential there for the number 7.
Another rider who wants to have a better 2023 is Evan Belford. Of course, he was out with a broken leg for a fair chunk of last season and had a bit of a difficult time of it. Doing good things out there on the RS Racing City lifting machine. And let's see whether he is going to be able to bring the fight to the front here. Across the timeline we go, ready to start the 17th lap out of 22, 3 abreast, down in towards the first corner. Evan Belford on the inside takes over at the front from Harley McCabe. Johnny Garnett just sitting there in third place as well. Somebody going out a little bit wide there as well. That was Sullivan Moundsey.
Not the first time either, so Sullivan, just kind of keep things clean, behave yourself, just you've got the pace. Yeah, Evan Belford, you mentioned earlier, he made his comeback at Knockhill last year from his broken leg and won. So yeah, he's another one with potential. I mean, it doesn't seem to be any advantage for Johnny Garnett this year. You could argue last year he was little, he was tiny, you get to the front and he'd take off because of his size and weight, but it's much more level playing field this year, and it seems like there's more guys that can take it to him. So I'm sure he'd love to, especially at this stage of the race, just get to front and check out, but it doesn't seem to be happening. Maybe he has got something up his sleeve, but it's always a risky strategy, keeping yourself in the bunch if you feel like you've got the potential to go.
Lucas Brown having a good ride so far on board the number 29. He's on the black machine, 6th place so far in this race, which is where, incidentally, he finished yesterday in race 1. Started 11th here for race 2, and as you can see, he's very much involved in this action as Emmanuel Brinton takes over the lead.
And this is a great British Talent Cup this year. It's much closer. I'm enjoying this immensely. A lot of riders have stepped up to the plate. Everyone a lot more competitive at the front. Lap records are going, so they're certainly going faster. It's not like the pace is slower and everybody's bunched up. But this part of the race, in any junior championship or even in Moto3 World Championship, with a few laps to go, that's when it starts to get a bit frenetic. And we're going to see riders just making sure they're at the front. And yeah, it's going to get nice and interesting in the next couple of laps.
It just goes to show you fortunes can change so quickly in this class, because Harley McCabe last lap was leading. He's now down into 7th place.
Yeah. Johnny Garnett's 4th.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, let's see what Sullivan Moundy can do at the helm of this one. Can he try and bridge a gap, or is he going to come under attack? I imagine probably the latter, given how it goes. So we're coming in towards the business end of this race now then, Neil. If you're these riders, what are you thinking about? Are you thinking about dress rehearsals for overtakes, or how do you play this?
Well, you may already know that you're strong on the brakes, or you know you can outbrake someone. There's a lot of riders over the years that they know where they have strong points, but the important thing is to stay in the top 3 or 4. If you start getting off the back here, there's a chance that it could, riders getting a bit more aggressive, they could split the group up, and then you're stuck in 4th place and a second gap to 3rd. So important to stay at the sharp end. And just use any skills you've got. Maybe not so important to be leading onto the back straight on the last lap, because the chances are you're going to get slipstream, someone's going to get a drive on you. So anywhere in the top 3 but close to the leader is a good place to be. Johnny Garness was the master last year. He slips to the front, so it'll be interesting just to see if he has got anything left in the tank. He certainly looked very safe. He's not had any moments. He's been keeping his powder dry, but everyone has been staying in touch.
Really nice block pass from Johnny Garness going into Brooklands there as well. Just shuffled out Evan Belford wide enough so that he wasn't able to launch an immediate attack into the next corner. And we've got 2 riders gone down here, unfortunately, thankfully, both up seemingly and okay. It looks like it's Clayton Edmonds and Davidson who have gone down. So Alfie Davidson and Clayton Edmonds on lap 20. Let's wait and see what happens here. Yellow flags will certainly be flying at the point of the incident as Sarowiak, apologise. So yeah, Sarowiak who's involved in that action. So that's Philip Sarowiak and Alfie Davidson who were involved in that one. My apologies to Clayton Edmonds. Meanwhile, down the back straight we go as the race continues here with Evan Belford now in front into the Brooklands corner. Harrison Desoy now up into 3rd place, slowly making that progress. He's almost anonymous, really, in sort of the mid-pack. There are the wave yellow flags. There's where the incident is at the Luffield corner, so no overtaking for the riders into there. But he seems, as I say, a little bit anonymous. And I don't mean that to his detriment at all, because he's just keeping his powder dry at the right points. Let's see what happens here, Neil.
Yeah, he's...
So this is
the yellow bike you're looking at, yeah, just tucked to front. I don't know, maybe still on the brakes. He turned into Brooklands. Yeah, Alfie Davidson, down he went. Unfortunate, taking another rider with him. It's it's a fine line for these guys.
Yeah, it's a big shame there for Philip Sarowiak, the Polish
Banks
rider.
Machine, the number 8. Yeah, this is certainly going to get interesting now. Penultimate lap.
So down the back straight we go. You can see Emmanuel Brinton then putting the pressure on Evan Belford. So dress rehearsal for one last dance then here at the Silverstone National Circuit. Johnny Garness jigs to the inside, runs it a little bit wide. Harrison Desoy says thanks very much and comes back through. But has Garness got the inside line into Luffield? Well, he tries to, but Harrison Desoy's got him covered. Now up to 3rd place.
Sullivan mounts it round the outside.
Oh, big wobble on the rear.
He's not scared of committing, and you don't want to finish 5th today off the podium. But yeah, Desoy just kind of ghosts his way through, like you say. He's kind of very innocuous and just makes his way through and into podium position. But now is when it's going to kick off. Now we're going to see if anyone has really got anything up the sleeve.
Final lap then here at Silverstone National for the 2nd race of the R&G British Talent Cup. It's Emmanuel Brinton who leads, but not for long, because here comes Evan Belford and possibly Sullivan Mounty. He's a demon on the brakes, is Mounty, but he's not got the room to try and mount a challenge. Harrison Desoy, meanwhile, on the inside of Johnny Garness for 4th place as they come through out of Aintree onto the back straight for the final time. It's Evan Belford in front then. He's got a little bit of daylight between himself and Emmanuel Brinton there, but can he hold on to it until the checker flag? That's the crucial point. Late on the brakes goes Brinton to the inside for the race lead. Can he hold the line there? He can, and he hits the front in this race. Johnny Garness ready to try and pick the pocket of Belford into the right-hander at Luffield as well, but not quite close enough. Harrison Desoy meanwhile on the inside with Sullivan Mounty on the outside for 4th place, but an amazing couple of corners there by Emmanuel Brinton to come around Woodcote Corner. It's going to be a run to the line here in the Honda British Talent Cup, and who is going to get the win? It's Evan Belford by 29 thousandths of a second over Emmanuel Brinton. Johnny Garness comes home just 200ths of a second back in 3rd place. What a finish here for race 2 of the R&G British Talent Cup, and it's Evan Belford back on top. The Romanian riders coming across the timing line then. What a fantastic finish we have had here. Harrison Desoy, well, he really kept his nose clean in that one. Sadly, the podium eludes him here in race 2, but what a brilliantly timed last couple of corners there from Evan Belford, right at the front when it mattered.
Johnny Garnes winning a wheelie competition despite finishing third, and it's good to see he's happy and he's celebrating. It's a long old season, but yeah, that was brilliant. And as I said, Johnny Garnes is a class act in this championship. For anyone to get close to him, never mind finish in front of him, it's great, and it's a fantastic inspiration for the other guys. So what a great and clean race as well. Great stuff all the way to the end.
25 points on the board for Evan Belford. Let's have another look at this to the line then. So Evan Belford on the outside. In fact, this is, yeah, fantastically close between these two riders. Just brilliant. Absolutely wonderful racing here in the R&G British Talent Cup. Evan Belford on top once again in 2023, the first victory of his season. And he'll be hoping for similar results as the British Talent Cup continues. You can see the elation on his face. He is absolutely delighted with that result, and rightly so as well. He's always been a strong rider. The next time these riders are going to be out is at Donington Park between the 19th and the 21st of May. Of course, they are going to be supporting the MotoGP event here at Silverstone later on this year in August as well. Let's have a look then, shall we, at the final results from the R&G British Talent Cup. Evan Belford takes his first win of the 2023 season in race 2 here ahead of Emmanuel Brinton and Johnny Garnes. Harrison Desoy just off of the podium ahead of Sullivan Mounsey. Harley McCabe with a great ride to 6th place. Lucas Brown, Julian Correa also involved in the action, as well as Ollie Walker. Clayton Edmonds inside the top 10 with Peter Willis and Harrison McKay on the Wilson Racing Machine just outside. Then it's Josh Bannister, Charlie Huntingford and Ben Jaliffey on the Wilson Racing number 42 with the final points paying position. And here are how the standings look after the second race here this weekend. 2 races down, and it's Emmanuel Brinton on top by 2 points over Harrison Desoy. So he was never on the top step this weekend, was Brinton, but 2 second-place finishes means that he has got the championship lead heading into Donington Park. Belford there just at 4 points adrift. Johnny Garnes 8 points away, so he'll be hoping for a top step to the podium when we are next out and racing. Let's see how that is all going to play out. Let's look a bit further down the championship order. Clayton Edmonds, Peter Willis, Philip Sarovia, they're very unlucky with that crash in the middle of the race. Let's have a look then.
Evan Belford, a familiar face at the front of BTC. First win of the season, you must be over the moon.
Yeah, I'm really happy because yesterday's race was really unfortunate for me to get caught up in that incident and then get a red flag, but I'm really happy with my race. It was a great battle with all the people involved, and yeah, I'm really chuffed. All my hard work over the off-season has obviously paid off.
It looked like a bit of a frantic battle, and quite impressed that you told me just off camera there that you'd watched the race from last year and learned from that and put that into good practice today.
Yeah, I've watched loads of races upcoming to this race weekend, and I've seen people go around the outside just before the finish line, and I seen him come to the inside, and I just knew that was my only resort left, so I give it a try and I've come out on top.
Impressive to see, well done.
Thank you.
Well, a very mature ride from Evan Belford, right on the top when it mattered, and it is the top step of the podium for him for the first time in 2023 as well. Could this be the start of Belford's title challenge this year? Very early days, of course. It is Emmanuel Brinton who leads the standings by just a couple of points after those 2 second-place finishes. And very consistent results he's had over this weekend. There is Emmanuel Brinton just chatting to his mum and having a hug and a kiss down in Parc Fermé. There is Johnny Garnes on the left of your picture, chatting to race winner Evan Belford. You can see the size difference between the two, which we were alluding to in the comms box earlier on here. And then you've got Emmanuel Brinton, who seems to dwarf them all. Just waiting for the podium celebrations to take place here then. With Johnny Garnes in 3rd place. His second podium, his second 3rd place finish of the weekend as well. Emmanuel Brinton manages to take 2nd place as well. his second place of the weekend, but it is a new winner for race 2. Harrison Desoy on top yesterday, Evan Belford here this afternoon at Silverstone. RS Racing are the winners as well. And the team's represented there on the left-hand side of your picture. A trophy for Johnny Garnes, looking a little bit happier in Parc Fermé here today, it have to be said. Emmanuel Brinton, more silverware for the trophy cabinet to take home to Valencia for the British rider. And Evan Belford back on top once again. Fantastic weekend of racing here in the R&G British Talent Cup. The show continues at Donington Park in May. Let's have a look then, shall we, at highlights from race 2 here of the R&G British Talent Cup. It's a great start from Sullivan Mounsey off the front row of the grid. Johnny Garnes also getting away pretty nicely, with Evan Belford always in the mix throughout the entirety of the race. We saw some dicey moves from Mounsey, ran it a little bit wide on a couple of occasions. There were a few incidents out on track. Thankfully, all the riders who did go down were able to get up and walk away from the incidents for the most part. There was a brilliant super slow-mo of Sullivan Mounsey. You can see Emmanuel Brinton getting his elbows out here, and then Harley McCabe on the white number 7 also really did some good riding. Unfortunately, it wasn't such a good race for Philip Starowiak and the number 8 of Alfie Davidson. Those two coming together, both out of the race. Coming into the final series of corners, it was Emmanuel Brinton who was leading, but a great slipstream from Evan Belford secured him the victory by just 29 thousandths of a second. It's Belford back on top here at Silverstone.